She's a real pain in the... Welcome to the Pain in My Cast podcast with yours truly, Cassandra Jean. Okay. You ready to do this?
I'm ready. I'm excited.
I'm so nervous. Okay. Welcome to In the Lobby podcast. I'm so pumped to be sitting here doing this with you. I'm Cass. This is Roger over here. So excited that we're doing this podcast together.
Yep.
Are you excited?
I think the biggest thing is that it's been a long time coming. You know, I'm happy to have a stage and a platform where we get to enjoy some of the conversations we have in private and put it on a camera.
For sure. Yeah. And I mean, I feel like I've already known you for a long time. Like,
how many years now?
Like 2 or 3 years.
That's crazy.
And we met at here in Austin.
Yeah.
At Wanderlust Wine Company.
I feel like COVID just makes me forget how much time has gone by. Like, I mean, 3 years? And before that, we were enjoying ourselves, grabbing wine at Wanderlust.
Yeah. I mean, that was like 3 years ago. And like, I just have to give a huge shout out to Sammy, who runs Wanderlust.
Oh, yeah. Great guy.
Yeah, so we are at Wanderlust, and you were trying to prospect me as a client for a CRM company that you were working for.
I was hunting when I was off of work, yes.
Yeah, and I told you, I said, Roger, if you're going to try and have me use your CRM that you were trying to sell me, then you're going to have to buy me a drink.
And I used that tap to my advantage.
Yeah, the wine tap for sure. And I don't even think you were drinking wine. You were drinking, like, the margarita mix. Yeah.
Big tequila guy over here.
Yeah. Do you not drink wine?
I'm a red wine guy, but I just have a hard time to chug it or enjoy it any other way than over some good music, at home watching a movie. If I'm chugging red wine, we have a problem.
Yeah. And I mean, I know that even when I met you at Wanderlust, you were, like, talking to another chick.
Yeah, I sure was.
And I just came up in there. I was like, you know what? This guy's trying to sell to me, so I know I can get a free drink out of him.
Absolutely.
And sure enough, you were a gentleman, and you bought me a drink, because that was a little bit pushy.
Yeah, I think that was one of my friends while I was there, but either way, you took the authority from that conversation, and you definitely got yourself a drink for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, we kind of became friends there.
Yeah. I mean, I met somebody that I definitely respected the way in which you engaged in conversation, and I definitely was for sure trying to get you to become a client while I was at the other company. But I think the more important thing was I grew to respect you. I think you have a presence to you. You're not afraid of anybody, and you don't really take any shit. So
kind of mean.
Yeah, I mean, that's somebody I want in my company, to be honest with you.
It was funny because like we hung out then, and then we kind of stopped hanging out for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you needed a job at one point.
I sure did.
And I did my best. I helped you get a job. We kind of became coworkers.
I think it was just more, you network appropriately, and you're a connector. I think that's another thing why I definitely enjoy you in my company, in my community of people. You're a connector, and so am I. We know a lot of people, and it's always nice to connect people you know will get along. And I think we both kind of have that answer sometimes.
No, I love that you're saying that because I feel like I'm such a connector.
Yeah.
And it cracks me up, though, because I feel like I'll piece people I know together, and then they'll make so much money from, like, the connections I've, like, thrown their way.
You're like, what about me?
I'm like, I'm really leaving money on the table. Like, I should be charging referral fees.
I feel like you're just doing it for the right reasons.
I am.
Otherwise, it becomes manipulation.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. But then, our podcast, the premise of it, the name.
Well, I think we got to give some more history, right? Like I did ask to be on your podcast when it was just you. And you had your own show going, and I told you I really wanted to be a part, and you told me a flat out hell no.
I forgot about that because when we were coworkers at the tech company we were working for together, I think this was like 2-3 years ago. No, it was like 2 years ago.
2 years ago now, yeah.
Yeah, I was like developing my own podcast, and you asked me when I told you that I was doing this, you were like, can I be a co-host? And I was literally like, fuck no.
Oh, I was super excited. I thought I had the answer.
Yeah. No, you were so ready to go. I thought it was sweet that you asked me, but I was like, look, this is a one-woman show, and I'm going to make this happen. And at the time I was putting so much like equity and sweat and blood and tears, sweat equity into this little podcast that I was building, you know, like I was watching all of these YouTube videos about how to do a podcast.
But was this like something you always knew you wanted to do? Because I feel like podcasting is something that's kind of like hitting off really recently.
Yeah.
But is this more of like a passion project, or you just were that kid that kind of like had a microphone in front of you when you were younger?
No, that's a good question. But I first started trying to do a podcast in 2019, actually. Sure. Okay. And I recorded a clip, like a little podcast intro, and I posted it. And I got such like negative feedback from my friends. They were really mean.
Was this on YouTube or what?
I think it was hosted on like Spotify. Like I was doing it through a hosting platform, and it really affected me. Getting negative feedback on something that I was so excited about. Yeah. So then I just kind of scrapped it, which is, you know, not the best thing to do.
No, I don't think it's the worst thing.
Yeah. Yeah. But then I feel like what happened for me and why I really got re-involved in the podcasting space is I swear this is the last time I'm talking about this. But I went through a really, really bad breakup. It literally broke me as a person, and
we've got them all.
Yeah, it took me to the lowest lows I've ever been in my entire life, and it still like deeply affects me to this day. And so I was trying to pull a Taylor Swift, Olivia Rodrigo situation where I was like,
and that negative energy is something positive.
Yes. Yeah. I feel like when you're sad, that's when like some of the best songs come out. That's when artists make some of their best music, you know? And I was like, I can utilize this sadness to express myself in a creative way.
Do you feel like you talked about your ex a lot when you first started podcasting, or that was just purely your gas to your engine?
So, yes and no. The first episode I did on that podcast was a situationship. Ooh. And it was the first situationship after my ex. Okay. And so it was me telling that story.
I don't know this. Did you like this guy? What's going on?
Yeah, but he was weird. Okay. And so
there's some weird ones out there.
There's some weird ones. So I feel like it was me talking a lot about relationships and dating and things of that sort, you know?
Yeah, I think for me it's a little different, right? I definitely have experienced exes and breakups and dating. I think dating in Austin is a whole different animal. It's one where no one's really from here. You happen to be a little bit of that unicorn, right? And we'll get into where we're from. But for me, I like to just talk about it from the other side of it. And it's less of me and my dating experiences and more of like, I think Austin dating has offered me to realize places where I had shortcomings and places where I wasn't the best. I think I have this tendency to want to keep people in my life under any means necessary, just for the idea of people are always growing. Like, you're learning about people always. And I like to give grace the same way I want to be given grace. But as that's going on, sometimes you got to learn a lesson the hard way. And I think I've been humbled, honestly. I've been humbled by some of those experiences where people needed to remove me from their life. And I've been lucky enough to be in this city and experience some awesome people, but also people that aren't from Austin. And stay away from holding those people in when it's not good or healthy. And be humbled and accept it. Because guys really don't learn until they put their hand in the fire sometimes, right?
Right.
Getting some of that advice is kind of like through life lessons and learning experiences. So I think I've had those, and those fair share of those have been great. And I've done my reflection, and it's made me a better person. I'm happy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that's what it was for me. Like, as a woman, my podcast was like a therapeutic kind of outlet. But being like a business professional, you know, I didn't want to have like a call her daddy type podcast where I was talking about my sex life and my relationships and having sex in a car or whatever was going on, you know?
Yeah, I mean, call her daddy can get pretty explicit.
Yeah. And so I was like, I kind of took a break from doing my podcast.
Yeah.
Because I was like, how is this going to affect my professional career?
Yeah.
With the things that I'm putting out. So I took a pause. You and I kind of, you left the company that I was working at.
One of those life lessons.
Yeah.
And that pause, like where you and I really didn't speak for a while. I think that was almost a half a year.
I was really mad at you.
I know. And rightfully so. I deserved it. And for everybody here, it was the moment that helped to create where we are today, though, right? Like there's a sense of beauty behind it, because after that 6-month stint of us not communicating, it ended up turning into you and I reconnecting and rekindling in the lobby, right? We were in a lobby. Cassandra had not talked to me for half a year. I was so excited to see you, but so afraid to say hi. Of course, I did. Went up to you and just really went right in to just say, hey, like, I miss you. I miss my friend. You and I, we're not those friends that have been sexual. There's no weirdness here. There's nothing behind it. And
that's what cracks me up, is because you always bring this up. Like, anytime we've pitched our podcast so far, Roger's always like, we're not fucking though. I'm like, why is he bringing this up? Because it doesn't even, like, as a female, I just like don't even think about these things. Yeah. But as a male, like, I guess you're seeing like how people would perceive us.
Perception is reality, right? Like, there's a version of that where people will take stuff and run. They can hear half the story or a version of it or just what you look like. And I like to think we both represent ourselves well. So if we're representing ourselves well, hanging out all the time, yeah, people are going to at some point have their own assumed version of who we are. And with us not, I think it's so much better for the idea of I tell you everything, you tell me everything, and having a woman in my court, but more importantly, a woman that gives me great counsel and corrects me when I'm wrong. It's pretty fun, honestly. I'm growing every day.
Yeah.
And I love it.
I feel like we have like a great like business like partnership, relationship.
Yeah. You're my dog.
I know. And just so any guys know, I'm single, so
we are putting Cassandra on the market.
So funny. Yeah, I mean, and that was like kind of where this like idea sparked from us doing this podcast together, was after like we rekindled things in the lobby. We were like, we're going to call our podcast In the Lobby, because a lobby is where you hear a lot of different conversations. You hear a lot of people talking. And we were like, we want to hear people's stories at a deeper level, Well,
I mean, you accepted mine, right? Like, you accepted mine at a deeper level in that lobby. And it was one where that was like our moment. And it was like that light bulb went off. And we reconnected, a day or so later, and just thought to really go on with this podcast. And I think that was the day you accepted me to cordially be your co-host.
Yes. And like, I'm tough. Like, I'm not like an easy person to like get into like my inner circle, my inner world.
Not at all.
And maybe some of that comes from like hurt and like being hurt by people in the past. But when I decided to do this with you, that was like a big thing, saying like, Roger's in my circle and we're going to do this together. Yeah.
I think there's a version of like, you've just been somehow directly associated with my circle by knowing people who have been in my circle, or just being around the right moments, whether it be a coworker, Wanderlust, where we first met, in my book of business when I was hunting you to become a client. You just always have been associated with the right circles around me. And I respect you for it. Everyone respects you, and I'm very happy to be associated with you. That
is so nice. Yeah. Like, so sweet. Yeah. And I mean, I feel like that's what makes Austin so special, is like this, it is like a small...
We would have never met.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Austin.
I know. It's like a very special, small network that's growing.
Yeah.
But that's what I wanted our podcast to kind of encompass together. It's like, I've lived here since I was 3 years old, and I'm 29.
Well, I'm at like 6 years now.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying, is like, living here so long, I feel like I know everybody.
Yeah.
And I do feel like I'm a connector. Like, I have friends, Brad, Amy, and Justin,
yeah,
They went on Shark Tank, did Beatbox Beverages, had Mark Cuban invest in their business.
I was right investor.
Right investor, right? But they're out of Austin.
Yeah.
I have friends, Joe and Travis and Becca, who
Were they one of the couples that like pitched their idea on Shark Tank, or how'd they know Mark Cuban?
saw Brad, Justin, and Amy. They went on Shark Tank and pitched it to Mark Cuban.
I got to go watch this episode.
Yeah, it's a really good episode.
Yeah.
So I know them, like, you know, my friends Joe and Travis, who are Amazon sellers. They're a top 100 Amazon seller. Their company did 100 million, I think, last year. I mean, even this podcast studio we're sitting in, my friends Jake and Ryan have built out this business, Pouch 6 Studios.
Yeah.
It's just,
great guys. They're really good guys.
Such good guys, and I'm so proud of them. Like, seeing the way that they've grown their business, and if anyone ever needs a studio, Pouch 6 Studios.
They got a nice Batman Robin thing going on.
They really do, yeah. And that's what I feel like is so nice.
I'm not sure who's who. I feel like they switch
any given moment. Yeah. I feel like having this network in Austin and just seeing my friends and growing up with them and seeing this successful circle of people that really is in Austin.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's like I definitely have similar circles. I mean, we've already discussed a version of that, but I mean, I feel as if I have the bug. A lot of my friends are on dating shows, and one just most recently won, The Bachelorette. Nate, what's going on, man? Miss you. Shoot your boy a text. I'm tired of reaching out. You need to make this even and fair, man. And one of our guests for this season, Mike Johnson, great guy, totally close to my circle. We know a lot of the same people. But more importantly, I think you meet people that you're supposed to know for a long time here in Austin. I don't feel as if any of the friendships that I've had have been short-winded or even on a version of fake or false. You get to really meet some genuine people here because a lot of people aren't from here and they're looking for their own version or sense of community. So in the lobby, you're going to be able to meet some other great people that might inspire you for an idea or two for your own.
I mean, I'm just, with what you're talking about, I'm even just thinking we're sitting like literally in the collective gym here in Austin within the studio. But just even the collective is such a sphere of networking and connection and
it's a vibe here.
Community. So it's such a cool place to kind of get to host our podcast out of.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about that.
Are we working out after this?
I got to get swole.
I'm ready.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what this is all about. And like, people kept asking me, they're like, what am I going to get out of this show? What is the premise of In the Lobby? And what I want it to be is where people can really authentically share their stories.
Yeah.
Like, no bullshit. Like, I want people to be vulnerable and really like tell the story of who they are and how they got their success. And that's what's going to really inspire other people to achieve their own success.
I mean, how many people have misconceptions about them, have versions of a story being told, how they reached their level of success, or even their greatest hiccup or their greatest pitfall in life is their stories being told about them, from someone else, right? So it's going to be a great platform where people really do get the ability to tell their side of the story, separate of their side of the story. Let people know a version of them that you're just not going to be able to get exposure on.
I love that you said that, like, especially the misconception piece.
Yeah.
Because I feel like personally, there's so many misconceptions that I hear about myself all the time.
Join the club.
I mean, it's difficult because I feel like people look at me a lot of times and they're like, oh, she's blonde and she's pretty and she dresses well, so she must come from money.
Enough of the compliments over there.
I do hype my own self up. Like, I do believe in myself.
Right, Flavor
I really do. You have to believe in yourself. But
you hear that, y'all?
Evil.
Starts with you.
It does. But, like, I feel like there's so many misconceptions about me, and it's like there's so much more than what people see than, like, what meets the eye.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I've been through a lot of hard things in my life and a lot of struggles that people would have no idea about because I don't talk about them.
For sure.
You know, and I think sometimes people who don't talk about their struggles are some of the people who have had the hardest struggles.
And their story gets told by someone else. I mean, I feel like almost like a broken record because I'll repeat that, but there's versions of you, like as I get to know you more over the years, I mean, I just get more and more surprised. I mean, I'll bring it to one point. I mean, I know you're an Austin unicorn and have been here majority of your life, but maybe get into a little bit about like where you're originally from. Because I think that's a part of your story that I think the rest of the world really should have access to.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of fun.
That's funny because like I do consider myself like an Austin unicorn.
Yeah.
But I'm really...
I do. I've been here 6 years. I can't even get the version of Austinite out.
Yeah, I consider myself an Austin unicorn, but I was born in Sydney, Australia. And then I've lived here since I was 3.
Okay.
Grew up like Lake Travis area, went to high school out there.
Who's from Sydney? Mom, dad?
Neither. Yeah,
They meet there?
No. Like I really have no claim to Australia other than me thinking that I kind of look like Margot Robbie and maybe could
Take it and run.
Roger's like, Cass, calm down.
I will say this for the Margot Robbie comment. She's the one that played Barbie, right?
Yeah.
I mean, everything you have other than the shirt on today is typically pink. It's very fitting for you, if that is the case.
I'm very big into...
I mean, aren't your nails pink right now?
No, they're red. I'm very big into, like, branding, like, even personal branding.
Yeah.
So, like, everything in my place is, like, pink, Barbie, Playboy.
I'm going with Margot Robbie for you.
See, there we go. But no, I have no claim to Australia.
Okay.
Other than my parents were over there for 3 years.
All right.
My dad was over there for work franchising Chili's.
Love.
Yeah, like back in the 90s when Chili's was like cool.
Isn't it weird? I feel like you think of Chili's and you don't really probably associate it with Australia.
No.
I always thought of like Chili's is only here domestically in the U.S. That's a fun fact for me, right? Like I may use that as my fun fact in a board game or something. Like that's just interesting to know.
Yeah. I mean, I think he was franchising them in Asia too, like Kuala Lumpur. It's crazy because I mean, Chili's is very, it's like American.
I don't know. What's your go-to dish at Chili's? I got one.
Just the queso, whatever that queso is.
Queso is good.
I don't really eat there.
This
I'll
was
tell
like
my dad.
My first date was at Chili's, and I thought I was doing something. I really thought I was onto it. I think I got like a Shirley Temple for both of us. You know, I had the big baller budget, and I had to go with like they have this hot plate where they just like grill everything right there in front of you. It's steak, shrimp, and I was like, all right, you know, maybe she'll be impressed. She was not.
That's funny. Have you seen the video clips of women saying that like don't take me to the Cheesecake Factory for a date?
Oh, I stopped with those. I turned into a coffee date guy thereafter.
But I feel like Chili's is on the same playing field as like a Cheesecake Factory date.
I mean, let's bring this back to dating to ask you a question. Where's your date spot?
In Austin?
Yeah. And maybe you don't have a date spot. I know I used to have a good old faithful date spot. It's changed over the years, but yeah, I want to hear from you. I wonder what it's like on the woman's end. Like, do you have...
Well, I shouldn't be planning dates.
Okay, that's fair. Let's say you do plan a date.
Do you want to know something? I'm supposed to go on a date tomorrow.
Okay.
And the guy texted me. He was like, "What are you thinking?" or something like that. And I was like, I have to be somewhere at 7, but I'll let you take the lead. You can plan whatever we're doing.
So
you know?
he's letting you plan.
No. I told him. He asked me what I wanted to do, and I said, I'll let you take the lead.
Good.
Because I'm not...
I think that's important. Is that for all dates, or is that only like first date, second date, third date, fourth date? Like, do you have a day where that stops, or is that just an always thing for you? And that's okay if it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's your autonomy. Do whatever the hell you want, but...
No, I like the man to lead.
Okay. Love that. Yeah.
Like, I just want to be walking around, like, all stupid, like, and they're just like, "Oh, no, this way, Cass." And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, it's funny because you're definitely not stupid.
No, I'm not stupid.
You're, this may be one of those misconceptions. You're like a marketing guru.
That's sweet.
You're very good at what you do, but I think it's more like turning off, right? Like, you get to have that comfortability factor that you can turn off with somebody.
Yeah.
And do you think that's kind of like something that benefits you to like that person if you can turn off with them? Or does that take time?
No, I want to be able to turn off with
Yeah.
someone. I saw this meme
Yeah.
the other day, and it was like, I want my man to treat me like a pet, and that sounds so bad. I'm gonna get torn up for that.
I don't think it's the negative
That's
side
not
of
what
it.
I mean. I
Yeah.
think it's funny
Yeah.
because I do want to be pampered like a pet, first of
Yeah.
all. Like, it's not even pampering. It's like, I feel like I'm in my masculine so much, like with work,
Oh, yeah.
that I just want like a man that like for once like is like, oh no, I'm gonna make dinner reservations here, be there at 7, gonna
That's it.
pick you up. I don't even think that's asking a
I
lot.
think that's the bare minimum. But
Yeah.
I can also say I understand because for you're really doing a lot of balancing during the day. And it feels like the tech world is really male dominated, and seeing you operate and move in certain rooms in the tech space, I feel as if it could be tiring sometimes, just the way in which you have to like really not only shoot your shot but make every single one, and you do, but you make sure it's known when you do.
That's funny.
And that's only because I've had access to work with you, right? Like,
Right.
That's really my bias. I'm speaking off of my experience with you, but I relate that to your answer, and I could see where you would just want to get off of work and have somebody else handle it.
Yeah.
You take care of the date.
Yeah. That's all I want. I mean, you came to Austin from New York.
Yes, I did. I came from New York. I moved here for work at the time. It was a company that's like has some ties to my family. One where I thought it was going to be the place I forever worked at, and I retired. Didn't work out that way. Ended up really contemplating if I wanted to stay in Austin. And I was in this version of reflection. Also, I was in a relationship at the time and really didn't know what was next, and trying to figure out, am I going to stay in Austin or leave? And I swear to you, Cass, every single time I tried to leave Austin, there was always something pulling me back, whether it be a job offer, a new experience, a way in which I could graduate to a new level of mental clarity or a better sense of self or a better sense of mental health. Like, this city has just done a lot for me. It's been a stomping ground, a healing ground, and it's also really expanded my perspective on a lot. So I've been thankful to be here for, 6 years now. And coming from New York, I feel like in New York, everything's due yesterday. Like, there's nothing to where you're kind of sit there, enjoy things for a little bit. And plus, I like to talk. I don't know how many people were my biggest fan in New York. I'm a talker. I want to get to know people. I want to go into depth and just try to hear a little bit more about your story.
Yeah.
So Austin's been real well for me. But yes, originally from New York.
I mean, I think that's interesting because I feel like you're talking a little bit about the hustle and bustle of New York culture.
Oh, yeah.
But I feel like Austin,
Austin,
I feel like Austin, like,
Austin's getting there, for sure. I mean, I'm comfortable here for a reason. Let's put it that way, right?
Right.
Like, I still have that New York hustle to me.
right.
And I think Austin offers me a lot of that comfortability. But there's also some perks and sides of it that are very different and not like New York. So I'm thankful for that.
Right.
Because it allows me to be a little bit more present and also experience some things that I don't know if I would have experienced in New York, truly.
When you were in New York, were you dating at the time? Because I'd be curious to know
Great
what
question.
the dating is like different between New York and Austin. Because the one thing I would think about New York
Yeah.
is there's so many people. I would feel like people would be non-committal there
Yeah.
just because of the population numbers.
I think it's a good question, and it's one where I'm happy the platform is a place where I can kind of answer it. I was in a 7-year relationship when I was in New York. I was with somebody who was just really great, right on time for my life. I really have no negative things to say about any ex, unless a few, maybe a few. But
You can have some feelings. You don't
yeah.
have to have.
But yeah, I'll keep that to myself, right? Like, I think at the end of the day, everybody has their own experience, and you want to respect that. But I had a 7-year ex, and my first time really putting myself out there in the dating market, not like, oh, we broke up for a week, 2 weeks, I'm going to go talk to a friend, and I'm going to date for a week and meet up with somebody. But no, like, seriously taking the lead on, like, spearheading my experience of dating. My first time on a dating app was in Austin. And I don't know if I'm really going to be the best person to answer what dating was like in New York. I will say that my friends' experiences were very much so similar to how you explained it. There's just it's a fast moving revolving door if you want it to be. But also at the same time, you can really meet some great people. And decent amount of my friends, they're married now. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Austin probably has a similar problem.
Oh, yeah. I'd probably say so, for sure.
And we were talking about this.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I feel like there's going to be times on this podcast where we're like conflicted with our, you know, answers on things because, and that's what I love about having a co-host, because I'm coming in with my own like female perspective, and then we got the male perspective over there. Because I was talking to you the other day about Peter Pan syndrome in Austin, and I looked at you and I kind of started thinking about myself. Oh. And I was like, do I have?
I thought you were going to say you looked at me and you're like, does he have Peter Pan?
No, I wasn't going to tell you that. I was like going to say something negative about like, you know, all the men have Peter Pan syndrome. But I was like, I'm 29 and I'm single.
No, but I mean, what's the answer nowadays, right? Like, I think what you're doing is you're really putting your career first. And I think you've been in love before, if I could answer for you. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've had some amazing experiences, but you've also been jaded by the bad ones, right? Like, we all get that way. And it's just a matter of, like, how fast do you want to be, or, like, how far do you want to go in that healing process? And I think, from what I know, you've really been focused on your career, and it's paying off. I mean, look at you here today. Like, there's not one person that knows you in your professional world that wouldn't brag about you. So it's what you make it.
That's super sweet.
Yeah.
I think the thing for me and like why I've stayed single for so long is it's like the person, right? And like I'll go on dates with guys in Austin and they'll do a lot of nice things. Like they'll take me to Uchi or to dinner.
Is Uchi the answer? Like,
no, this is what I don't understand.
I feel like there's a big misconception around that.
This is what I have a hard time with the men that I go on dates with is like I cannot be bought.
Oh, love that.
Like that is
love that, Cass.
What I cannot be bought.
Me either.
Yeah. And I think that they start realizing when they're taking me on dates, this is not going to be an easy process.
Yeah.
You know? And that weeds out a lot of people.
If you feel that someone is trying to buy you, what is like your natural reaction? Is it to end the date, or is it to like try to get them to snap out of it and just be themselves and be a little bit more authentic?
I have a hard time with this.
Yeah.
Because I feel like at the end of the day...
Shoot, I have a hard time cutting people out of my life. Like,
I know.
Sometimes I've been the poison in other people's lives. Like, I've had to recognize that.
Yeah.
Reflect on it and get better at this. It's not easy to become better. But at least you notice it. Like, you noticing that, I think that's a game changer for you.
Well, I feel like at the end of the day, like, we're manipulative people. Yeah. Right? Like, human beings are manipulative.
Absolutely.
So it's like, you know... There's probably something I want out of this person, and there's probably something they want out of me.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's the right way to look at it, but there is kind of like a value trade.
It's reciprocity, right?
Right.
Like you want to sit amongst somebody, and I feel like we have that, right? Like there's a version of reciprocity. I know that I can exist in a conversation with you, and you're going to tell me something or expose me to something that I haven't been exposed to or don't know. Or maybe I'm not considering in a certain way. And I think we always want that in our relationships as well. There's probably just some more silos of dynamic that it touches upon. But yeah, I think that can be true there.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I mean, I can tell when someone's trying to buy me.
How? What's the first move?
Take me to a nice restaurant. This just happened. This just happened to me. I had a guy take me to a nice restaurant.
I want to know if my restaurant, when I would go on dates, was like, did people think I was trying to buy them? Because I definitely was not.
Well, this guy took me to a restaurant. He was talking to me, and he was talking about, like, bags that he had bought for women.
Love this
like,
man.
Like, purses. Like, he was asking me what my favorite designer brand was.
Okay.
And in my eyes, this is just me personally.
Sure. I'm
listening and thinking, this man is trying to pick up from me what brands I like, thinking he can buy me a bag and that I'll sleep with him, which is absolutely not the case.
Not the case. I'd hope you take the bag, though.
No, there's women that are very interested in that. They really are. And sometimes I wish I was.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, go get your bag, sis. But I want something deep. I want something meaningful.
Yeah.
And a piece of fabric's not it.
Well, I think the scarier thing for me is that people believe that that's it, right? Like people will host or boast and brag about getting somebody something to say they're deserving of more because of that. Like, no, there's always an exchange of things, and it's just it works out that way. It shouldn't be your be all end all for any experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's tough. Like, how has dating been for you and your experiences in Austin?
I feel like I touched on it the way I want to.
Okay. I'll leave you alone.
Yeah. I think for me, it's been a little bit different, but I will say, I've learned a lot, honestly.
Yeah.
And it's probably back to that other point I made where I've had to realize that I've been the poison for some other people before, right? And I have a little bit of a toxic trait where I think it comes from a good place, right? Like I believe in people. I believe that people are always growing to become their best version of themselves. I believe that you should give everybody grace. Like you don't know what somebody deals with in their day or what's going on. And that should be live and well, but there should also be a version of boundaries in that. And I don't know how much I've always existed in that. And I would hold people on for too long. So to know that, and then other people had the authority and honestly the ability to cut me out, where it was probably rightfully so. Not even probably, it was rightfully so. I've really had to sit with that and reflect and become a better person. And I honestly, I'm always growing, and I'm okay with it. So just always in growth mode. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my answer on dating.
Yeah.
But I will say I would probably want to go into one thing about dating, and it's the version of me picking out my restaurant. I always pick out one restaurant where I want to make sure I kind of get that answer from everybody that knows me well enough there at the restaurant if I look like I'm comfortable.
Do you have a spot where
I did.
They would like the staff would know you?
It was Wu Chow. Wu Chow in Austin. It just offered me this version of a New York vibe when I was in there. And it was kind of also one of the places I first went to when I got here. But they would just always give me that head nod or something if I looked like I was uncomfortable. And your feelings and emotions can lie to you when you're in front of someone.
Right.
And they kind of would look out for me. But I have since changed. I no longer do that. And I'm more of a coffee date guy if I ever did need to go on a date. But I don't need to go on dates anymore. So that's all.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's tough, with the dating situation.
Oh, yeah.
In Austin it is, but But
it's a part of our history too, right?
Yeah.
This episode is so people can get to know more about us. And what better way to get to know somebody who's in this highlight of their life. It's a highlight reel, right? Like you get to know who somebody is and how they've experienced life, and maybe even what their exposure has been here in Austin. Certain people like certain things, right? I feel as if my dating experience here has led me to different sides of the city. Like one side was a little bit more active, the other side was a little bit more party-esque. It's us. Like people should get to know about our dating.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's interesting what you said about Wu Chow too, and the staff knowing from your expressions.
I now want it.
That sounds so good. But when you're happy with someone you're on a date with, it's so evident. At least for me, I know I look like a giddy little schoolgirl. And there's so many times I'll go on dates and I'll just not even think about what I'm going to wear. And those are the times I know I'm not that interested. Ooh. Because if it's anyone I really like, there's a lot of thought going into that outfit.
I love that.
And I know you like your fashion too.
I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I will say everybody will get some exposure to my favorite outfits while in each season.
You have a lot of clothes.
I'm a clothes guy. I love it. Sneakers too. I like to. I'm a big sneaker guy. My sister, she's got me obsessed with sneakers.
I think that's a New Yorker. I feel New Yorkers love sneakers.
My sister and brother, probably both of them, honestly. My older brother, older sister, they just always had great shoe selection. And I was the younger brother, always trying to wear their stuff, and they would help me out. My sister, she was always fashionable with sneakers. So there was a time where I was the same size as her for sure. And I would wear her stuff. But I'm not a heel guy. Not wearing my sister's heels.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing I would want to say is, what do you feel has been kind of like your greatest lesson, maybe over the most recent time since COVID? Because I think a lot of friendships have changed. A lot of people have picked up new hobbies or whatever may have it. Do you think you've picked up a new hobby or something that has been thrilling or exciting since? Like,
I feel like the last few years have been some of the loneliest years of my life, and it's like the biggest gift that I've ever had, because I've never had to go so deeply internally by myself and really face myself.
Love that.
And I just,
good job, girl.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I feel like a lot of people don't do that or don't take the time to heal from things.
Yeah.
And I've spent so much time getting up early. Like, I would go on walks at 4 a.m. listening to affirmations.
Yeah.
Like, I literally look at myself in the mirror and, like, tell myself things, write the little sticky notes, do the vision boards, all of the woo-woo things.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
I'm not just yesing you. I do the same. You know, like, there's a version of me that believes in that. So it's like, I really do respect you.
Yeah.
Applause for you for sure.
Yeah. So I feel like out of being lonely, I grew into this version of myself that doesn't need anyone.
Yeah.
So the people that I do have in my life are very specifically chosen for who they are.
Love that.
Yeah.
It's like the first round draft picks over there.
Yeah. B team and C team are out. Goodbye.
I love it. I love it. I will say I feel as if I have some of the same experience for sure. I've had to do a lot of that interpersonal work, and some of that stuff has really gone back on the idea of like, what does community mean to me, and like, who do I want to be around me? Are they around me for the right reasons? Am I around them for the right reasons? And who do I want to be, and how am I going to get there in the most expeditious way? So there's definitely some similarities there. I'm just happy that we can align and both be a part of each other's community. I'll take being a first round draft pick any day. So thank you. I appreciate you. And you know, for everybody else that's tuning in, we're going to have a lot of special guests here and an opportunity to get to know more about us in each and every episode. But come on back to the lobby. It's going down.
It's going down. Yeah, I'm so excited. And we're going to have like an episode released every week.
Yes.
Every day on Tuesday. We're going to have awesome guests. And then we're going to, like, our social stuff, we want you guys to follow.
Yeah, TikTok, Instagram. We're debating Twitter. We'll see. Or X.
I was like, do they even call it Twitter anymore? But, yeah, you can find us on Instagram and TikTok at In the Lobby Pod.
Yep.
And then we'll be streaming on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and a lot of the other ones. So
YouTube as well.
YouTube.
Yeah. So
I got a lot of work to do, Roger.
You know, it's tough to be us.
Yeah, I'm so excited. But was I supposed to say something? I'm cutting all this.
It's going down. No, I mean, I think if you want to say something, though.
I think you should say, like, come back to the lobby because you know it's going down. You say that, and then I'll say it's going down.
Okay. Come back to the lobby. It's going down.
Going down. I'm so excited, and I'm so thankful for you.
Likewise.
And season 1 is just going to be so much fun, and we're going to get to tell so many people's stories, and I'm so excited.
For sure. I'm pumped. Let's get after it.
Woo!
I'll see you, girl.
I don't know how to turn this off.